Hey everyone. Okay, so I wanted to just pause for a minute and let's zoom out. You know, this is like my theme. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. And I know some of you probably get really tired of hearing that. But you cannot find truth in this day and age and where we are unless you're zooming out. You cannot get above the control, the manipulation, the propaganda, the mind control. You can't even get above like our own feelings, thoughts, and emotions until we zoom out, because the longer that we sit in this place of thinking that we know everything, we're like, I know what's going on. I know this situation. I'm not looking at that other side. There are times when we have to go, man, maybe I don't know it all. Maybe there is more to this story. Maybe there's a little bit of truth on both sides. Maybe I need to stop saying they. Who's they? Who's they? That's the enemy all the time. Maybe I need to do my own inner healing work. Why do I need to do my own inner healing work? Because until you do your own inner healing work, you're operating off of wounds and triggers. Why do we operate off of wounds and triggers? Because we have tied emotions to those feelings that are getting brought up by other things, and then we don't know how to deal with them, and so we replay the cycle over and over and over, and we project those things out to other people, out to other circumstances and situations, whether it's what we're seeing right now in this geopolitical affair that we have going on, whether it's with our own family, our friends, any relationships that you have, even within your own self, if you suffer from, anxiety or depression, any of those things, because, anxiety is something of like you're feared of the future. It's that scared of what might happen. And that depression place is you're constantly thinking about what was, it's in the past. And those things start to like bleed over into every aspect of our life. Sorry, I'm sitting in my car having to hold my phone. And it's one of these things of if everyone started doing the work from here and stopped always thinking about the logical mind, the egocentrical mind, the one that's trying to connect all the dots, that sometimes it doesn't make sense. And then if it doesn't make sense, well, then it must not just be true. We don't get to operate in that place anymore, because what we're seeing play out right now is bringing every aspect of everyone's reality into focus. So for me, I have gratitude for that, because I'm like, I'm getting to see this with wide open eyes. Whereas before, convoluted, muddy mess, I cannot see anything and I'm very deceived. And until you can get into a place and go, man, maybe I didn't know all the things. Maybe I was deceived. Oh, I hurt my pride. I don't want people to know that I was that. See, there's a place where we've all been deceived at some point in our life, and we all have to be able to get past our pride and be able to go, dang, that sucked. But because of that, I'm going to be able to see clearly now. I'm going to be able to see something a little different that I've never seen before. Because this is where we are. So what we're doing right now is watching this this war between neighbors, between nations, between brothers and sisters, between children, between different classes of people, between financial institutions, governments, people groups, religions. We're seeing all of that play out right now in war with each other, tug each other back and forth, because a lot of people don't want to look at themselves and go, how can I be different in this? What is it that I can do to change this? Because until each person decides to say, hey, I'm going to do the work. I'm going to get right here. Remember, what does your heart say? What does your heart tell you? We have 40,000 neurons that work in our heart that are just like our brain. So when people say, what does your heart tell you? They're not just saying that. You actually have a physical brain in your heart. And this is the place when you get into here and you stop trying to think about all the things from here that make no sense. And then if it doesn't make sense logically, well, then it must not be true. We're not doing that anymore. That's not where we are. So we're watching these nation states play this huge, it's almost like watching a movie, literally like watching a movie, trying to find out what is the end going to be. Who's going to be the villain, and who's going to be the antagonist, and who's going to end up being the hero, and all of those things. It's literally like watching a movie. And then you've got people all over, I'm watching this all over the interwebs, people fighting about, oh, you think that person? Well, I think they are. Oh, you don't know what's going on. I know what's going on. And then we play the tug of war again, right? Again, the real enemy getting all of us to fight amongst ourselves, while the other one's operating back here in the shadows. All the while, all of us should be looking at our own shadows. Like, here's an example, okay? I'm watching some of the stuff go on with Ukraine, and I was seeing some children who were being displaced and taken from their families. Inside of me, Mama Bear came out, and Mama Bear said, I want to go over there right now and throw those people up against the wall and give them a piece of my mind. Now, I'm a very peaceful person. I'm a very loving and kind and compassionate person normally. But when you see something that invokes something where you're like, this isn't right, and I'm going to do something about it, and that anger comes up in you, that angst comes up in you of like, I'm going to do something about this. We all have that in us, no matter how peaceful or loving or kind we are. We all have something inside of us that brings out what people would call like that dark part of you. You have the light part of you, you have the dark part of you. But we like to point our fingers and look at these leaders and go, they're just dark. Oh, they're light. We each have that within us. And what happens when, this is why I keep talking about this, when 7 billion people on this earth start doing the inner healing work, it changes like that. Because when we start healing our wounds to become more peaceful with each other and stop projecting our wounds out onto the world, and we look at it with a mirror to be able to see, how is this happening to me? How am I reacting to this? Oh, I'm not reacting correctly. I'm a fighter. I just want to fight and poke and prod. I'm not helping then. And you can't see the control and the manipulation that's happening to you until you zoom out. You have to be able to have a personal awareness and be able to accept some of these things that maybe just aren't what we thought it was. And that's okay, because we're in a place right now of awakening. And when we start to awaken to things on a grander, bigger scale, and we're able to peel the layers back and start seeing some of the truth, we might just realize that a lot of us have a lot more in common than we have differences. And when peace starts to reign over us and reign in our hearts, then we have love and compassion that overflows every part of our being. Every part of our being. We see outward change in the world. There's so much to say on this that like we want to start connecting all the dots. And what I've tried to show to you on my page is how you start connecting some of these dots to go, something's not right here. Maybe I'm not getting the whole full story. Maybe just that one person isn't the big bad wolf. Maybe that guy's not just the big bad bear. Oh, maybe there's groups of people that are operating together behind the scenes in the shadows that are making us all think that we're all each other's enemy when we're not. How do we stop wars? How do we find a solution to that? It's when we stop tugging and we put it down and we say, no more, I'm going to live in a peaceful place. We have to be able to learn as a society to know who the real enemy is. And that starts oftentimes right here with our own selves. Who is the real enemy of ourselves sometimes? Do you ever self-sabotage, put up self-protective mechanisms because maybe you don't like that feeling that arises in you? Or maybe that person reminds you of someone else who hurt you in the past. Maybe those feelings are uncomfortable because we never dealt with the wounds that we had from long ago. Maybe I don't like certain leaders because they remind me of a situation I had with my own father, and that leader kind of acts like a father over my nation, and I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the way he looks because maybe it reminds you of somebody else. Oh, he has the same name as somebody else that hurt me a long time ago. I don't like you. See, we have all of these reasons and all of these self-protective mechanisms and all these barriers and these things that we put up, these walls that we put up. We should have healthy boundaries, but those healthy boundaries come from a place of self-awareness when you've done the inner healing work, the root cause of why you feel a certain way, why you're only allowed to see a certain way. That allows you to break free from all of the drama going on. You rise above it, you can look at it and almost start laughing at how absolutely ridiculous it is. Because when you have eyes to see, you cannot unsee what's happening right now in our world. And what it is a movie that is playing out from individuals to neighborhoods to cities to states to regions to nations to the globe. And when we all start realizing that we're all part of the human tribe, the two-legged tribe, and we stop letting people manipulate and control us for their own greed and power, we walk forward as a group. We stand together as a group. It doesn't matter what our skin color is. It doesn't matter what our religion is, what our beliefs are, where we come from, where we were raised, how much money you have. None of those things matter when you fully start to grasp the revelation that we are all the two-legged tribe. And we start to see who are the real culprits here. But see, even in that, who's the culprit? Have we allowed them to do that? We have to take our own ownership in that. Because when you start knowing that that's going on and you still allow it to go on and you don't call it out and then you don't try to heal your own wounds from it and you sit in it and then you start battling other people for all the same reasons, you're just adding to the problem and the chaos. We have to see things for what they are. We have to do our own work. We have to zoom out. We have to see the bigger picture, and then we have to heal. We have to heal as humanity, rising together in this hour. We are walking from one age, one era into a new one. And all of these things that have been in operation that have caused this chaos and division, we can't just keep saying they caused it, they caused it, they caused it. Have they caused some of it? Absolutely. But we also have to start looking right here. How have I allowed it? Okay, I just want to give you those things to think about as you continue to seek wisdom in what's going on in our nation and the nations around the world, and what is the solution of how we walk forward. It's going to take a lot of people rising up together to bring these solutions forward. All right. God bless every single one of you. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me on this journey. We're all in this together, like we literally are, and we are here to hold each other up, to walk forward together, to hold each other's hands, to cry together, to laugh together, to pray together, to seek together. That's where we are, together.